Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to this orientation session on the paper AFM. This is Lukman Rafiq here. I am the tutor for this paper, Advanced Financial Management. So the agenda of today's session is that we are actually going to start discussing that what exactly is this AFM all about. In addition to this, we are also going to be discussing the way we will be studying the AFM paper and what exactly are the key areas for the AFM paper that you have to study in case if you have to pass. And furthermore, what is the approach, what is the strategy that I actually adopt in order to teach AFM that could actually help you attain the pass. So we are going to start off. In front of you now is the AFM syllabus guide. This is the syllabus and the study guide for all the papers from September 2021 to June 2022 examination sessions. We are going to start discussing about it. We are going to start referring this specific slide, this is specific syllabus for our discussion. Now, first of all, the very important thing which I think uh, is the relational diagram which is linking the AFM with the other papers. If you could just see this relational diagram of the AFM, you would realize this is management accounting. Then there is this financial management. And then there is this strategic business leader. All of them are connected to the AFM. Now see, this management accounting is also termed as F2. This financial management is also termed as the F9 and the SBL, which was previously P1 and the P3. These are the two papers that what it is. Now, so if I could just talk about the advanced financial management, I personally think if I would have been in the ACCA's board of directors, I would have given a strong recommendation to make it a mandatory paper. To me, it is one of those papers which makes you a complete finance professional. For those who have actually not studied this paper of advanced financial management, I personally think that they do have a lot of lacking in understanding the very core, the very basic, the very important concepts of the advanced financial management. So we are going to be discussing about this interesting paper, that what exactly is this paper all about? What are the syllabus areas? How the paper is examined? What are the things that we would have to cover up in order to be ready for this specific paper? First of all, the examination structure, which is more or less the same for the remaining optional paper, a 3-hour, 15-minute examination, with section A being a 50-mark question and the section B, 2 questions of 25 marks each. That is what the examination structure of this syllabus is. Is there any specific topic that is going to be examined in section A or section B or section C? Unfortunately, no. The examiner has got the whole syllabus. He can examine anything out of the whole syllabus, and you would have to actually be handling that. There could be a syllabus area being examined for 40 marks. There could be a syllabus area being examined for 25 marks. There could be a syllabus area being examined for 35 marks. There could be a mixture of the syllabus areas being examined together. So there could be multiple things that could happen. Now, if I talk a bit about the syllabus of this AFM, so a very important thing is actually to discuss that what exactly are the components of this syllabus. So guys, if you are going to be referring to this specific syllabus, let me guide you one thing. There's a strong relationship between the F9 or the FM paper and the AFM paper because it's an advanced version of the financial management. And if I could just tell you the topics that we study at the FM level, we study the sources of finance. We study the cost of capital. We study business valuation. We study this investment appraisal. And in addition to this, there is a topic which is called risk management. And lastly, we have got the working capital management. It's just that this working capital management is not being brought forward here. You have got sources of finance and the cost of capital. They are being covered up. They are actually covering the area of the restructuring and the reorganization. They're actually covering the area of restructuring and the reorganization. Then you've got the business valuation, which is covering the area of mergers and acquisition. We've got the investment appraisal, which has got the advanced investment appraisal. We have got the risk management, which is covering the treasury and the risk management. So if I could actually tell you every single thing that you have studied at the FM level, that is some way or the other. I repeat, every single thing that you have studied at the FM level, that is some way or the other ultimately examined at this paper of the AFM. So it's an advanced level paper. It's an advanced version of the F9. And you can expect that every single brought forward knowledge, you could expect that every single aspect of the F9 is going to be examined at this AFM level. So now, if I talk about this advanced investment appraisal one by one, if I could just talk about each one of these topics. So the advanced investment appraisal. The advanced investment appraisal builds on the concept of the NPV, builds on the concept of NPV, builds on the concept of IRR, the payback, the discounted payback that we usually study at the F9 level. And then what actually happens is that there are the advanced level techniques, including the adjusted present value, including the modified IRR, the other technique of duration, etc., etc. And then a very important thing, which is the foreign investment appraisal. Foreign investment appraisal. So like if you are sitting in a country and if you wish to invest into a foreign country, that is also something that's going to be examined in here. So that is also going to be one of the areas that you would come across. I repeat, that is also going to be one of the areas that you would be coming across when you would be discussing, when you would be studying this advanced investment appraisal. From the exam perspective, this is an important area of the syllabus, and you could expect 25% weightage of this area in the examination. On any exam, you could expect a 25% weightage from this specific area of the syllabus. This is something very, very important, very, very important area. Now, let's move a bit forward and let's discuss further. The next thing that you actually need to understand is that's one of the area. Then the second one of them is about the mergers and acquisition. About the mergers and acquisitions. So we already have studied the business valuation at the F9 level. Here, what we will be doing is that we will be discussing the advanced valuation techniques. We will be discussing the advanced valuation techniques. That's one thing that we will be doing. In addition to the advanced valuation technique, what else would we be doing? We would be doing that how to finance acquisition. How to finance the acquisition. We would be discussing the synergies or the benefits that are going to arise and the non-financial aspects of the acquisition also. So when we are going to be talking about this mergers and acquisition, I repeat, when we are going to be talking about this mergers and acquisition, it's going to be the advanced valuation technique. It's going to be how to finance a business acquisition. It's going to be the synergies or the advantages or the excess advantages that you're going to get as an entity when you would be undertaking this specific investment. And lastly, the non-financial factors that it's not just about valuation, it's about having additional benefits out of this acquisition arising from let's say if I talk about these non-financial factors, I could actually say that it is going to be what? It is going to be how would it impact the culture of our entity? How would it impact the other factors? How would it impact our competitors? How would it impact our staff, etc., etc., etc.? A lot of things that you would have to consider. So there you actually saw a relationship with the SBL. The relationship with the SBL was for this specific reason. I repeat, the relationship with the SBL was for this specific reason that it was actually, I repeat, the relationship with the SBL was for this specific reason that it was actually what? It was it was something that you would see, that you would realize that the non-financial aspects are going to be examined. That's why there is a relationship with the SBL. Then you've got another area, which is about the restructuring and the reorganization. Now, when we talk about the restructuring and the reorganization, let me guide you a bit that what is a restructuring, what is reorganization. So when I talk about the restructuring and the reorganization, it could be multiple things. It could be your financial structure is being changed. What is this financial structure is being changed? You are converting your equity to debt, or you're converting debt to equity. You're converting one form of equity to another form. You're converting one form of debt to another. So there could be multiple types of things. So there could be a financial restructuring, which is changing the way the organization is financed. So changing the way the organization is financed, that could be one of the things that you could actually be required to do and perform the calculations upon. Secondly, in addition to this, at times what happens is we do change the organizational structure. We do change the organizational structure, like you may have a tall structure with multiple layers of management. You might actually go for a flat structure. You might actually go for the outsourcing. You might actually go to become a network organization, etc., etc., etc. So there could be multiple things that could happen, and the organizational structure could change. So that is also going to be one of the things that could happen to the entity. The next thing is, at times you actually bring about a change to the portfolio. What is the portfolio? The portfolio is your group of investment. I repeat, at times what could happen is that you could bring about a change to your portfolio. What is a portfolio? The portfolio is a group of investment. Like for example, what happens is that when we talk about the portfolio being group of investments, so you might have actually invested in a cement company, you might have invested in a pharmaceutical company, you might have invested in auto manufacturer, and you might actually be investing in the textile sector also. So if you have invested into these multiple sectors, pharma, auto, textile, etc., 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 resultingly, what is going to happen is, I repeat, resultingly, what is actually going to happen is that at times you may not be able to control the cement. At times, the cement sector may be reducing your profitability. At times, you could be losing out on the textile. So maybe possible you might want to get rid of this, you might want to dispose it off, or you might want to actually partially dispose it off, etc., etc., etc. So there are at times the changes in the way the organization has got investments in the there are multiple portfolios, there are multiple investments, there are multiple businesses that the entity is connected to. So what actually happens is that when you are connected to the multiple businesses, when you are actually, I repeat, when you are actually having those multiple businesses and you think that you need to enhance the value of the business, and for enhancing the value of the business, if you have to undertake certain things, I repeat, if you undertake certain actions, certain um, uh, changes, so that is what is going to be considered as, I repeat, that is what is going to be considered as portfolio reconstruction. So when we talk about the restructuring and the reorganization, So this restructuring and reorganization would have these three different types of restructuring and reorganizations. What are those three different types of restructuring and reorganization? So that is actually going to be the portfolio, that is going to be the organizational, and the third one of them is going to be the financial. So I repeat, there could be these three different types of reorganization. I repeat, there could be three different types of reorganization. That is something that you could have. That is something that you could do. Is that okay to you? Yeah, is that okay to you? Now, good enough. Let's move a bit forward. The last aspect of this is the treasury and the advanced risk management technique. Now, what is this treasury and advanced risk management technique? So this treasury and the advanced risk management technique has got two aspects. I repeat, the treasury and the advanced risk management technique. The treasury and the advanced risk management technique has got two aspects. There is actually going to be what? There's going to be the interest rate risk management, and there's also going to be the currency risk management. So there are two aspects. So what we would be doing is that we'll be talking about different type of instruments. That includes the forward contract, that includes the future contracts, that includes the swaps, etc., etc. That includes the money market hedge, the different type of contracts, and lastly the options. So what we would be doing is that we would be discussing how a treasury personnel would undertake the different type of activities in order to make sure that she is able to hedge. I repeat, we are going to be discussing that how a treasury personnel would be undertaking the different type of activities to make sure that she is able to hedge the interest rate and the currency risk management. And as I told you, that this is an exciting syllabus. This is an amazing syllabus to study. It is one of those syllabus that's going to make you a complete finance professional. So the core areas are these four areas. I repeat, the core areas are these four areas. And frankly, this is not a big syllabus. Frankly, this is not a big syllabus. Yes, but it's technical. It's more technical. And the technicality could be overcome. The technicality could be addressed when you will be, I repeat, the technicality could be addressed when you will be doing more and more practice questions. So if you start doing more and more practice questions, so the technicality, the technical aspects are going to be covered up. Yeah, we'll be calculating the value of options. The value of the options are actually part and parcel of investment appraisal. They are not separate topic, they're part and parcel of the investment. So guys, how exactly are we gonna be covering the syllabus? Let me just give you a bit of a guidance. When you enroll with us, by the way, there is a 50% discount. Tonight is the last day for it. And then we are having a New Year discount, which is gonna be coming up. So, but anyways, when you enroll with us, we've got this learning management system of ours. You get access to this learning management system where there are multiple chapters, multiple topics, and under each topic, you could see there are practice questions. There's a practice question, there's a practice question. Under each topic, there's a practice question, practice question. These are the multiple practice questions and the handouts that are made available so that you as a student don't have to worry. So there's ample amount of revision, practice questions, etc., which is also available for you to be able to discuss. So the way we are going to be covering this course, the way we are going to be studying this course is that once you enroll with us, you will have access to, I repeat, you will have access to the recorded lectures. Plus, there is going to be a planner which is going to be shared with you. In addition to the planner that is going to be shared with you, you will be having a one live class each week where we shall be discussing according to the planner the questions that you may have, the queries that you may have, the problems that you may encounter. And in addition to this, there are going to be 4 assignments during this whole course that we will be going through. The 4 assignments would have 2 questions each. So there is going to be 2 questions each that you would be answering. You would be submitting your answers to. I shall be reviewing those answers and I'll be giving you feedback as to how your answers are, as to what type of answers you have written, so that you could actually prepare with. So this is something that I'm going to do. This is something that we are going to do. So the live classes are, we have this orientation session today. The live classes start from the next week once the planner is being shared with all the registered students. Plus, what actually happens is that um, around mid of Feb, I'm expecting to conduct a 3-day session, which is probably going to be 5 hours each. And those 3-day session is going to be a complete revision. It's going to be a complete revision, a question-based revision of the AFM syllabus. So that is the strategy, that is the approach that I'll adopt. And one question that the students usually have is that we studied F9 quite a long while ago. So how would we cover up? Don't worry. All the lectures when I teach from the basic. So you don't have to go back to the F9 lectures. I do teach from the basic, and this time round, I'm just gonna do one more thing. I'm just gonna add up more and more F9 related lectures also before the start of any topic, so that you as a student could actually go through the F9 lectures in case if you wish to go through them. So guys, that's it from my side. It's over to you people now. In case if you have got any queries, in case if you've got any issues, you may ask. Yeah, there are many CB format questions, so you don't have to worry about it, Irfan Hashim. The initial questions, the initial questions are actually not the CB platform based, but subsequently the question becomes CB platform based, because what happens is that if the first question that I teach is the CB platform based, it's going to become quite difficult for the students to catch. So the initial chapter that I do, initial lecture that I do, it's usually the normal noted, but otherwise it's a CB platform based lectures. A lot of recording are there, like you see there's this CB platform mentioned somewhere, and there are few lectures on which CB platform is not mentioned. So I'll actually get it done with respect to the CB platform to have mentioning that it's a CB platform based lectures. Yeah. Anyone else having any other question, please? Listen, there were, you could see that there were these query sessions. It was just that if the students are not if the students have not gone through the queries and if they haven't gone through the planner in the sequence, then the live classes won't happen. You could see that there are live sessions that actually were conducted, but unfortunately the live sessions could have been greater had there been an active coverage from the student side also. And furthermore, it was basically um, we did figure out this thing that a lot of students um, were actually having a time clashes. That's why we just could not have the live classes. But this time around, don't worry, we'll have more and more live classes. Don't worry about it. Yeah, anyone else? You may unmute yourself in case if you would like to talk, or you may type, Mohsin, they are going to be in the weekdays, and they're going to be in the evening after 8 p.m. Pakistan time. Yes, that is what I'll try to do, Mohsin. Don't worry. That is what I'll try to do. Don't worry about it. Yeah. Anyone else having any other issue? Anyone else having any other questions, please? Please do ask, because the more you ask, the better it is going to be. Okay. Now, let me just give you a bit of an idea. In case if any one of you would like to get in touch with me, you could get in touch with me on this number. And in case if you want to talk to the scriber admin, you could get in touch with them over this number. So depending upon what you need to do, if you want to get in touch with the scriber admin, you could actually get in touch with them on this number. And in case if you wish to talk to me, you could get in touch with me on this number. Sure, Mohsen, you can go ahead, please. Okay, don't worry, we have that APM class later tonight.
Sir, the question is in APM at time of calculating the ratio debt to total market value ratio of William Beaver under corporate failure. Which cash flow do we need to use? Cash flow to firm or cash flow to equity?
Depending upon what the model defines. There's no standard. There's no standard at all. Okay, guys, anyone else? Okay, good enough. So what we are going to do now is that we're just going to keep it till here. We meet up again in the next class where we are actually going to be discussing about the syllabus area as per the planner, which is going to be shared with all of you. And there we are going to be actually taking up your queries, taking up your problems, addressing the issues, and inshallah, hopefully it's going to be a great session. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for your time. Thank you for attending the session. It was great to have you all together. Thank you.